Get ready to fight from within. You're about to go behind enemy lines.
Roger, 3-2. Goliath copies all. Go ahead. Target is surrounded by multiple firms entering what appears to be a residential area. Requesting permission to engage.
From the People's Republic of New York City, you're now going behind enemy lines with Gene Baradelli and Russ Gallo.
And you are now behind enemy lines. Hey there, how you doing, America? Gene Baradelli here with you on this summer evening. And of course, we are all here at Behind Enemy Lines thinking about friends and loved ones who are in the Houston area and on the Gulf Coast of Texas and Louisiana. This show's for you. We hope that you're all doing well. Stay strong. I know exactly what you're going through because I lived through Superstorm Sandy in 2012. Had my home destroyed, had to pump out the water, had to rebuild. Everything's not going to get better real soon, but things will get better. It may not be tomorrow. It may not even be for a year or even 2 years. But don't worry, Texas, Louisiana, Gulf Coast, you'll bounce back. We know you will. You're strong enough. You got this. You'll get through it. And hopefully, if you want to listen to the show, if you're in that area, and I know that, there's a lot of heavy hearts there, we're going to show you some of the best of what we do here behind enemy lines. Yes, it's another clip show, but that's okay. Before we leave the whole topic of, what's happening with Hurricane Harvey and all that, shout out to our friend Ron Phillips, a true Texan, a true American. He's down there right now rescuing people. Go to his Facebook. He's a friend of mine. You go through my Facebook, Gene Baradelli. Find Ron Phillips. You'll see all the videos he's doing of the devastation that's there, going from house to house, looking for people, rescuing people. God bless you, man, for doing it. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, now we can get on with the show. Thanks for listening to the show. We're glad you're with us, whether you're listening at www.behindenemylines.radio.us, or if you're checking us out on the AM radio dial, or the FM radio dial, or even the internet radio dial. Glad you tuned in with us. Or if we're traveling along with you as a podcast, we're glad to be along for the ride. So to take minds off of things going on in the Gulf Coast, and again, my heart is with everyone there, just based on my own personal experiences 5 years ago. We're going to play some of our clips from this year. It's the second part of our best of 2017 so far, but it's not going to be, the big top headline interviews. It's going to be the ones that touched us the most. And we're starting out with our friend John Preston. And we have some news. For those of you who remember, John Preston, Marine veteran, great musician, songwriter, singer, composer, does it all. And he's finally getting the recognition he deserves. Yes, we all know that he is a legit rock star. But now the rest of the world and mainstream music is going to be finding out because John has signed with Concord Entertainment. And they're putting out his album. And it's absolutely fantastic news for us. Concord Entertainment, Universal Music Group, will be releasing his single Before I Am Gone worldwide. And, John, being the tremendous man that he is, will be donating all of his profits from the record sales to Stop Soldier Suicide, and will be running a national anti-suicide campaign with the release of this song. And you'll be hearing the song right after the interview we did with him back in March. But man, good things happen to good people. We couldn't be more thrilled here at Behind Enemy Lines for our friend John Preston. And if you know anything about his story, and he's going to tell you his story in the interview, you can't help but get emotional when thinking about everything this man's been through, from his fight with PTSD to the suicide death of his brother, all points in between. And the man pours his heart into his music, and we are proud that we can say that we were there when we knew him when. Because the man's going to blow up. He's going to change the world. He's going to do big things for veterans and for our country. Here's our interview with John Preston. Not only a very talented, entertaining gentleman, but someone who has served our country, active duty Marine, and just overall one of the best people I've ever interviewed on the show. And a pleasure to welcome him back. John Preston. John, thanks for coming back on, man.
How are you?
Things are great, man. I'm glad to have you back on. I'm excited to talk to you, not only because of the project that we're going to be talking about that is been recently released, and I guess the rollout is continuing, but also we haven't really talked since we talked before the election, we talked a little bit during the campaign period, but now here we are in the era of Donald Trump, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that first and foremost.
I'm happy to see it happen. Honestly, I am pro-Republican regardless of which way it went, and honestly, I think this is a dude that's going to do what he says, and he's already starting to prove that, so it's exciting to see him in there. It's exciting to see General Mattis in there. So I'm pretty stoked about what we have ahead for the next 4 years. If everyone gives him a chance, I think he's going to, take care of business.
I'd like to think so. I mean, there's some news that's personally disappointed me thus far, but all in all, and taking the good with the bad, I'm hopeful. And I think that's the word that I'm hearing a lot of people, that they're hopeful that things are going to be okay. Now, of course, you still have contacts with your fellow brothers in arms. What have you been hearing from them about how they feel about the new era of Donald Trump?
It's a positive reaction. That's the thing is, they have someone now that is showing right away that he cares about his military, from going to visit the family of the fallen Navy SEAL unannounced, not making a media issue out of it. If you remember, the Obama administration didn't even go to Chris Kyle's funeral, who's one of our biggest heroes ever in this country, while at that same time the Bush administration had them in box seats at the Dallas Stadium, completely catered and taken care of. It's a different feel for the actual care, and there's a lot of things happening on the other side of the world that a lot of us are fed up with. We lost our war. Our war was given away. There's an enemy there that needs to be destroyed, and now I have a feeling that's going to happen pretty quickly.
It definitely feels that way. I mean, when you see it before a joint session of Congress, he actually says radical Islamic terrorism. You feel like, okay, now we have a president that gets it. I definitely feel that way for sure. And
the comedy in that, I believe he was actually told not to say it.
Right.
Like, he was actually warned, don't say that. And he came out and said it. And that's what I love about the guy is all of us here that have been there, especially, we know what it is. It's madness. It's such a madness of just ideology idiocy, and we know what it is, and there's nothing wrong with saying exactly that, and I'm proud that our president did.
Absolutely. And the other thing I guess we have to talk about for you personally is not only this project, but you're now with Pacific Records, which is pretty cool. I think last time we spoke, there was maybe happening, could have been happening, but now you're there with a label and everything. That's got to feel like a huge accomplishment.
It's nice. It's definitely beyond even just them. We've built a huge team, man. We have a ton of people that are getting behind us from a lot of different organizations, from big companies. Anyone from Facebook.com right now to we're talking to really big companies, and we're looking at even bigger things to happen along with this release that are still the wheels are spinning. I'm super excited, but it's been a ton of work too. I've been grinding. I executive produced the album that's coming out on the 17th, and I haven't stopped. I'll get off the phone with you. It's a Saturday, and I'm going to have 2 or 3 more phone calls back to back off of yours, and I already had 2 this morning. It's just that pace has to be kept. But I'm excited that we're getting these releases, and I've known the guys at Pacific for a long time, so they've really been to what I need, and I always ask for a lot because, I plan on moving the earth with what I'm doing.
Yeah, and let me tell you, man, it is so gratifying to see your success. I remember when, Your War Is Over came out, and it really started a deeper conversation about issues with veterans, but it also, kind of introduced you to the world, and now, this guy from Kentucky is he's got a team now, like you said. You have a force behind you, and it's got to feel really gratifying, the response and the momentum that's been built.
Yeah, it does, man. It does. Looking back, what I've gone through to get here isn't really what I want, but everything is growth. Everything that I do is growth, and I've realized, regardless of the team that I have behind me, that I still have to work as hard. I still have to keep pushing and keep driving. I did a entrepreneur podcast the other day, and it's amazing how online that is. You think of artists as just musicians, and they go and they play music, and it's not that at all. We have to be out constantly talking about and selling our product, and for me, God blessing, this product is my heart. It's everything in my life. It's devastated my own life, and for me, I can't help but drive. I can't help but push, and it's really made a difference.
Well, and let's make it clear to the audience that may not know your backstory. It's been a long road to get here for you, and especially after all that you suffered in the effects of war and being overseas. Well, just very briefly explain to everybody the road that it took to get here. I know that's like a loaded question. We can do a whole show on it, but
right.
Give everybody just
2 hours on that. But
give the elevator speech for that.
Summarize.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell them that road.
Okay, yeah. So basically, probably September 2014, I started this back. I released my first single, "This Is War," and it gave us an opportunity to do something I never expected I could do in life again. Because I played music in 2004, was very successful, and had no idea I was going to go back after this. I attacked the public with veterans with post-traumatic stress and with veteran suicide. Your War Is Over was completely about that. And every time I've had a media appearance, I always talked about veteran suicide. I always talked about post-traumatic stress, and I've always been very aggressive at getting that out to the public. I started before the 22 existed, and I was making noise. That has been my plan since the very beginning. I am a veteran with post-traumatic stress. I do deal with it. I have fought it. I want to show the world that it's possible to move forward from it. January of last year, kind of I don't know what you call it. You call it a kick in the ass, kick in the nuts, whatever you want to say. It hurt. My older brother, Marine Corps veteran and police officer for 20 years, lost his battle with post-traumatic stress. He lost his battle with depression, and he swallowed a .40 caliber bullet. This was not just an older brother. This was not just a family member. This was a man that was the number 2 man in my life, and we had lost our dad 6 months prior, so he was the number 1 man in my life. He had taught me how to be a man growing up. He got out of the Marine Corps about the time that I was going into high school, and literally it helped raise me during those years. I was at his house constantly. I learned how to talk to girls. I learned how to be confident. I was this skinny little awkward kid, and he taught me to have a huge personality. If I didn't have that personality now, I wouldn't be here. And I looked at him as this unbreakable, giant monster, the Superman, that no matter what happened in his life, he was always going to be good, man. And we were all grieving over our father, but never in my mind did I think something would be wrong with him. I always thought, no, Mike's got this. And he succumbed to his battle, and succumbing to that battle, he left 4 children behind. He left a wife. He left my mother, who had just lost her husband of 50 years. It devastated our family. Yeah. And I had every opportunity at that time to put the guitar down. I had every opportunity to quit. I was ready to quit. I was done. I felt like everything that